Sponsorships are a necessary part of modern YouTube. Nobody really likes them, but if Raid Shadow Legends showed up at your doorstep with a potentially life-changing amount of money, who's to say you wouldn't take it? Raid Shadow Legends ads enable YouTubers to pay their rent without worrying about Susan blowing their brains out, trick young children into playing a predatory Skinner box designed to cultivate a gambling addiction, and most importantly, provide juicy subject matter for smaller channels looking to capitalize on the anti-raid zeitgeist. I'm well aware that dunking on a crappy free-to-play mobile game is not some kind of morally heroic act, so just sit back and relax as I dunk on a free-to-play mobile game like it's some kind of morally heroic act.
Today, we're going to talk about what Raid actually is.
After downloading the game and permanently tainting my email address by using it to make a Raid account, I was greeted by an intro level where I clicked on a big arrow to make pretty colors happen. This glorified baby mobile should serve as a giant red flag that you shouldn't play this game anymore, but if you foolishly ignore that obvious warning, you're asked to pick a starting champion. So, here's how you play the game. First, you gotta pick your party from your collection of champions. You only have one guy at the start, and take a wild guess how you get more.
Loot boxes!
Anyways, once you have some champions, you go into a dungeon, which is just 3 of the same room copy-pasted with boring encounters in them, and then you click on your guys' attacks to make them do cool animations. There's a lot of buffs and debuffs flying around to try to trick you into thinking the game has any semblance of depth, but it's literally just rock, paper, scissors.
Magic is stronger when used against a spirit. Spirit is stronger than force, and force is stronger than magic.
The gameplay is so tedious that there's a button that makes the game play itself. And if that's still too boring for you, which it is, you can also make the game go at double speed like you do when you're watching one of those hour-long Dark Souls critiques.
But it's exactly the slow pace that makes the game so compelling.
You can just leave the game on autoplay and your champions will win every time until you start getting missions that are too high level for you. Then, suddenly, your party can't do enough damage, so you have to go grind previous dungeons to level up. But just hold on a second there, cowboy. Dungeons of this caliber don't come cheap. Every time you want to play a mission, you have to spend energy. And guess how you can get more energy? That's right, it's the in-game store. And also, every time you want to level up a champion, that costs silver. And if you run out of silver, well, I think you already know. Even just the simple action of switching out your character's weapon, which you will do quite often, costs silver. I did some math and figured out it was costing me 25 cents worth of silver to switch out my guy's axe. 25 cents to frickin' switch your weapon, and oh, there's like a million equipment slots, so heaven forbid you find a new set of armor. You gotta pay through the nose to wear that bad boy. And of course, the game gives you plenty of free currency at the start, so the thought of paying actual money for this stuff seems ridiculous. But as you level up, everything starts getting a little more expensive, and at some point you've invested 20 hours into this game, and you don't want all that hard work to go to waste, so you know, maybe you can afford some gems.
Stop. You don't need this.
Unfortunately, I'm well aware that none of these tactics are exactly new. I remember when Overwatch first came out, I hit level 23 really fast, but I still wanted those juicy skins, so I caved in and bought some loot boxes. $60 worth to be exact, and I still remember the mixture of anger and shame I felt towards myself after I opened them.
What have I done?
And honestly, I don't think that was entirely my fault. These systems are precisely engineered to use all the psychological tricks in the book to get you to spend money on them.
Make sure that your games aren't too skill-based. I made that mistake myself.
Now, me, as a 20-year-old man, buying Overwatch loot crates, yeah, that's kinda on me. But when like a 10-year-old child sees his favorite YouTuber tell him to download a game, and then he does, and he gets hooked on the gambling aspect and spends all his birthday money on gems, and then grows up and becomes the kind of guy who stands around at gas stations all day spending all his money on lottery tickets, then yeah, maybe you shouldn't have promoted this game to the audience of children you know damn well you have. The reason I brought up the gas station example is because I used to work at one, and I saw that exact guy every day. There were regular customers that I got to know pretty well that would just come in every day and gamble away all their money. It would ruin their marriage, they'd get divorced, never see their kids. One guy even started living out of his car, but you know, still playing Powerball. And yes, those people are adults and they're responsible for their own lives, but if Raid Shadow Legends gets one kid, or you know, not even a kid, just like a guy, if they get one person hooked on gambling and that becomes their life, then whichever channel's affiliate link they use to get their free 50k starting silver is partially responsible for that. If you're an avid viewer of this channel, you may be thinking, wait a minute, didn't this guy just tell me he plays COD Mobile in the last video? Well, yes, I did. And it's true, COD Mobile does have loot boxes, but the key difference is that COD Mobile is, you know, actually a game, and a pretty fun one at that. These days, loot boxes and other gambling mechanics are so ubiquitous that you're pretty much forced to separate your feelings from them versus the actual game they're attached to. And I'm not saying it's okay to have this crap as long as your actual game is good, but the thing that makes Raid in particular so egregious is there's not even a game attached to it. It's literally just numbers getting bigger, and if you want your numbers to get bigger in a reasonable amount of time, you better pay up. Raid Shadow Legends and all the scams like it are not games. They're sleazy ploys designed to siphon money from vulnerable people, and they use the fact that they're a video game to get around gambling regulations and target children via YouTubers. If you've been offered a promotion from Raid Shadow Legends, maybe, look into it before you take it. And if you do go ahead with the ad anyway, then I guess I'll see you in hell. I, of course, will be in hell too, because this video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, baby! Oh wait, never mind, they didn't approve it.
Are you so new you need a few more champions to make some decent progress? Get a summoning pack. Do you have several cool champions that need to be equipped and upgraded? Get energy refills. Stop.